Hello, everybody. Welcome to Political Football. My name is Dave. I'm here with Scott. Pretty sure Clev will be joining us whenever his day job calms down here a little bit. Um, Scott, it has been a pretty horrible couple of days. Obviously for us as Lions fans, it started a little bit ago. I will say it does feel like the Lions loss was 3 years ago already. This reminds me of the first time around, and I don't miss this feeling at all.
Cleve, how are you?
Can you guys hear me? Battling
Yeah.
bug right now, so my voice is going to be a little nasally. My voice is not great to begin with, but happy belated birthday, big guy. Hope I know there's a lot of stuff that went on around that day, but hopefully you celebrated your solar return, your trip around the sun. So happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. What nothing happy about it.
Bullshit. Come on.
You're breathing and you're above ground.
What did you eat for dinner on your birthday?
Nothing. I didn't have anything.
Damn it.
We are getting
Sean, nothing.
No, we're probably gonna get something tomorrow. But
From
to
who?
recap, the Lions got eliminated as 9.5-point favorites on Saturday. On my birthday, on Monday, Donald Trump got inaugurated. Elon Musk threw up a Sieg Heil at an inauguration celebration. Ohio State won a national championship, which somehow was only like the 7th worst thing to happen that day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Poor Paul is a Notre Dame fan, so he's definitely had better weekends. But at least Notre Dame was, a significant dog, can stand proud for their season. Liam, best division of football, every team gets first rounded. That is actually really good smack talk from a 6th grader. I'm gonna let that stand because that's quality from somebody that young. I love it. I love it. Yeah, it was not good. And before we get to football, and we're going too quickly, I know this isn't the biggest problem of the last couple of days, but I want to be very clear on the record about this. Fuck Snoop Dogg. With every fiber of my being from now for the rest of eternity. And if I ever meet him, I will tell him to his face. I'm
oblivious. What did he do?
So Snoop Dogg, when Donald Trump was elected the first time, and some people were considering performing at his inauguration, he went on social media and was saying things like, "Oh, which one of you jigaboos going to get up there and dance for massa?" and all this, like some great stuff. I mean, he was really calling people out. Kanye, some other people. Guess who performed at the inaugural ball this time?
My guess is it would be him.
Yes. It's not just taking a check from an obviously racist administration when you don't need it. It's the blatant hypocrisy for money when you don't need money. The only thing Snoop has of value besides his money is his legacy and his reputation within his community. And he threw it all away. And Paul says, I hope he gets stiffed, which is true. You can never count on Trump to pay you. And, because a lot of these things that have happened over this last week were not voluntary. Like, Snoop Dogg didn't have to do this, right? He's not in some position to where he's got to kiss the ring or he's going to be in trouble. He actually could be one of the most insulated people to keep speaking out against everything.
Yeah.
And instead,
he's on everything. That's the problem. He's on everything. He's at the Olympics. He's like the new mascot or something.
But that is what makes him exactly perfect for this. Because if he were to get fired from all these things because he speaks out against obvious evil in the world, he would add so much more legacy and credibility than he could ever have as a musician. He has all the money he will ever need. Right? He had all that going for him. And on Dr. King Day, he got up there and danced for massa the same way he mocked other people for doing 8 years ago.
We're a very
To each his
different
own,
country
brother.
than we were 8 years ago. It's a very different place.
Yeah. So I just want to be on the record with it. Talking about there no Snoop and wants to send him a clip, please feel free. If you know my real name, you can include it. If you know my phone number, you can give it to him. I will tell him directly to his face. I do mean directly. Probably to his security. But
Save for Nelly. Save for Nelly. Save for Soulja Boy. And save for Rick Ross.
Yeah, so there's a couple things there. Rick Ross used to be a prison guard, I'm pretty sure, so he's always been suspect. Soulja Boy has been successful in the past. He doesn't strike me as the type to be very careful with his money. I can see him needing a check. Nelly's always just kind of been soft and weak. I've never been that impressed with Nelly as a human being. Snoop, on the other hand, it's because of the comments he made 8 years ago. You know what I mean?
It's
the switch up.
It does. The optics is really bad. That's pretty bad.
Snoop Dogg getting up and performing at the inauguration of Donald Trump would be like me getting up and giving a speech at the inauguration of Donald Trump.
I was going to go a little further and say like you giving a speech as what's the character that Chappelle played that was the blind Ku Klux Klan guy.
Clayton Bixby. Clayton Bixby.
So good.
So the thing is, though, is you don't know what the motivations are for people, and we can't at this point in time think that a guy like Snoop or whatever is going to do the right thing for his own motivations. I mean, clearly the right thing right now would be to be calling all the nefarious shit that's going to happen. Very clearly, right?
It is already happening.
And it has happened.
But I'm telling you,
Dave and
again, I know I'm privileged. I know I am. But asking people to do the right thing, even in much simpler environments than something like a president and performing on TV, asking people to do the right thing, in my experience, most of the people I've been around, people are not going to do the right thing. They're going to do the easy thing for them. Even if they know they're doing the wrong thing, they're still going to, you know what I mean? There's people are going to struggle with what is the right thing to do.
Yeah, but I mean, Donald Trump is a bad man, but he's not El Chapo. He's not making an offer you can't refuse. All he had to do was not perform at the inauguration. I'm not even saying he had to put 10 toes in and go on you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing as with Kanye. Kanye goes from George Bush doesn't care about black people to anti-Semitic comments losing a deal with Adidas in 10 years.
Yeah.
And then you got Snoop and the same thing within a decade, going from these amazing statements, standing for everybody, representing the people, his own people. Snoop Dogg does not come from money. He does not come from good circumstances.
Yeah.
Right? He knows there's a ton of people in circumstances now like he is from. And he just threw all of them under the bus for a check.
Yeah, but what's his ulterior motive there? What are his motivations?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Scott. He opened the door for himself to do something.
Yeah,
he opened the door for himself,
or to stay in something. We don't know. And I'm not saying that's the right thing, Dave. Don't take it that way. But it's so hard to be presented with things that are happening in front of your eyes that are bad, and maybe there's a group of say 10 guys who can see there's bad things going around, and one guy is the guy who ends up standing up for everybody and sacrifices himself and takes all of it. When everybody else sees it's going around is bad, they see it, but they just don't have the courage, or there's just too much. There's too much at stake, so it's hard. If you ever talk to a whistleblower about anything, they're going to tell you.
But whistleblowers generally don't have their own power and influence, right? Snoop Dogg does.
That's the point. Perhaps he wants more.
Yes, and I agree with Scott. I agree with both of you, obviously, and this is why the show exists, because we can bounce this stuff around. Um, I on Scott's take, we don't know people's motivations, and I guess he's helping himself. He's helping himself out to open the door or stay in the door, stay in the company. But I likened him to like The Rock, to Kevin Hart. I'm over. It's oversaturated for me. They're everywhere, and I'm like tired of seeing them. I'm tired of seeing their faces and whatever. So I wasn't too shocked that he did it. But to Dave's point, you can't ostracize people 8 years ago and act like, I mean, those were some starch comments that he had for those people. Like he was like, I want to see who the first one's going to be, and he was very lucid in how he said it. And then the switch up, I'm like, bro, like, did you not? There's tape on that.
Right.
There's tape. There's tape.
Doesn't that speak?
That was set in the back room somewhere. Yeah.
It speaks volumes about what's happened in the last 8 years, and what this, where we are as a country. It just, nothing. This doesn't surprise me a bit. That, it just doesn't. Expecting. I'm not saying you shouldn't expect people to do the right thing and stand up for good values and all that stuff, but maybe stop expecting them to, because that way you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, but the thing is that I don't necessarily expect anybody to just go and jump on a grenade necessarily. But since you already did, it's like, bro, just stay there. Like, you just stay in your lane. Like, you know who didn't go for Trump's inauguration is Eminem.
Yep.
Because Eminem hates Donald Trump, and he'll just stay in that business forever. And like, nobody will ever change his mind and get him to say anything else.
Yeah. Yes, but that's the motivation side of things, and I think that Eminem feels in a position of hey, this is wrong right?
Yeah,
like
that he doesn't need to do it.
Yeah. But he's, he was out in Detroit introducing Barack Obama and during Kamala Harris's campaign and all of that. Like, he's never going to perform for Donald Trump. He hates Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So, like, this sort of hypocrisy like this, and this sort of cowardice when you have power and influence like Snoop Dogg does. Like, we have this lady reverend here in DC speaking truth to power directly to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That's
courage.
Yes, incredible courage. This lady does not have anywhere near the reach, influence, staying power, or anything of somebody like Snoop. But here she is. Right?
Yeah. And she's the kind of person that we've been screaming for. Like, this is her background, who she is, what she does.
Mm-hmm.
And her motivations are exactly that, right? So it's incredible what she did to speak to the power that was there that day. It was.
Yeah, that's disgusting. I was going to say that. Thanks, Paul, for bringing that up. That's like, it just kind of reflection of where we're at in present time, in real time. And again, going back, orbiting this conversation, the thing that's sad, bro, is that, so I am from another country, right? But I primarily grew up here, but I'm from another country. And my parents didn't have to deal with the things that in the 60s that people here dealt with. We had our own little issues there or whatever, but to the level, they saw it on TV, and they were like wondering what the hell's going on in America. And I think, this is me personally, this isn't political football or Scott or Dave's take. I rather know what people think and do. I'd rather see it in the open versus the people, like, you could be working with a Snoop Dogg, you could be working with somebody who's supporting an effort. And we learned that a couple of years ago when we saw all of the football teams that we root for, and some of these owners that are political PACs funneling money to most of these campaigns, right? And again, you're trying to separate the talent, the field, from the person that owns it or whatever. But we would be shocked of how many people that we work for, work with, or work for us that are a Snoop Dogg or something like that,
Yeah. So I work in a 2,000 room hotel. So obviously I work with tons of people. I work with tons of people of all different races and ages and everything. And I work with a number of Latino folks who voted for Donald Trump. And the few of them that I talk to are pretty much already regretting their vote.
Well, hello.
And it's very aggravating because they're regretting it for reasons that I pointed out to them before the election. But they argued with me before. It's like they needed to see it for it to be true, and I'd like to be like, like, can we?
Are you I told you so guy?
100%.
Because I am. I am.
With the DX with it. Oh yeah, all the time. I mean, just like, hey, like they're walking by. Hey, you voted for this? Yeah, I'm not. I won't play. Like, because you can't say you didn't know. I should have told y'all, but yeah, they're releasing the executive orders, and now they're like, "Oh my goodness, my children or me or I don't know about my mom or whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah, bro."
I mean, Scott,
yeah, bro.
Dave and I are the epicenter of, like, we're seeing it real time because we're so close to DC. We're so close to this action. Like, I have friends that have been affected today.
Yes.
I have friends in the federal government that don't know what their jobs are going to look like or be if they have a job or a career at this point. Like, that's real time. That's happening in real time.
Yeah. Also, Scott is the only white person here. I hate to tell you, but you are the DEI hire, and Donald Trump says you're currently on paid leave. So
I'm also a woman.
So
that was great. Get him escorted out.
Yeah. So this next 4 years is going to be crazy, and I was really hoping we were never going to have to go through this again. And it's only a matter of time before we start seeing protests within sports and all that, because full immunities coming for police officers, so that violence is going to increase up. So protests are going to increase up again.
It's going to be a rough one. It's going to be a rough one.
We're going to get all sorts of this stuff again. So I did want to lead with something there because it's just way too important not to. And I was seeing my name here refers to Elon Musk, and I don't like to judge people by their parents because they're not responsible for their parents' actions. But his parents moved from Canada to apartheid South Africa because they felt it fit more in their values. That really says something about a person.
That was his mom's parents, correct?
Oh yeah, I think so. Somebody, but either way, I don't hold Arnold Schwarzenegger at all. He's like, because his dad was just full blown whatever. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but because of that, we also can't act like Elon Musk did not know what he was doing.
Okay, so if we go into that for just a second, let's say it is a Roman salute, right? So that's the First Reich, was the Roman world, right? The Second Reich is World War I, pre-World War I Germany. And what is the Third Reich? Right? It's the 1,000-year reign of what Hitler was trying to achieve.
Yes.
So let's say it is a Roman salute. What is the Hitler salute? What is it?
But the thing is, the Roman salute is just something derived from a painting from like the 1800s. It doesn't actually exist.
It's the same thing. That's where 1935 Germany got it from.
Yes.
So even if
I'm glad you said that, Scott. I want to show you guys something. I don't know if you guys can see this. So you can see this. What does that look like?
Yeah, that's the Buddhist symbol for peace. Now, tilted 45 degrees, it means something else.
Yeah, tilted 45. I'm glad Scott said what he said, because I'm a taoist and I have a ton of these. I have wrists on my wrist. I have a ton of these things around the house. Praying hands.
That symbol's all over Japan.
So to Scott's So to Scott's point, it's something that derived. So I was told that he's autistic and that was his way. And I'm like, he's a grown man. I don't buy that at all. Also, I don't buy Roman salute either. I saw what I saw.
The Roman salute is post 1945. No,
yes.
Come on.
And here's the thing. The spectrum is wide. However, there are some significant blocks within the spectrum, and you can be autistic and have no learning disabilities. This is something I'm actually very familiar with. Elon Musk knows better than to do that in public even if he feels that way, right? It's not just like, oh, like to think, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing because he's autistic. Autistic does not mean mentally challenged. And if somebody wants to tell me that to my face, we can have a whole different conversation with hands. But but like Elon Musk knows not to do that. Like he knows, like if I do this, I'm going to get in trouble, which means he knows that he could feel comfortable doing that now. That's part of the reason why it was so terrifying. And by them saying, oh, it's because of this, or because of that, or whatever, they're trying to like make it sound like, oh, it's not okay to do this still. But him doing that is meant to signal it is okay to do this now. And so we're going to see a lot of people doing it as a way to like own the libs or whatever, and to try to normalize it once again.
Yeah.
And that to me is what's so terrifying about it. And no, he does not get a pass because he's autistic. Like when he was watching the inauguration behind Trump, he kept going like this, like nonstop. That's him stimming. He gets a pass for not being able to sit there and keep looking forward, right? That's him stimming
because he's a robot.
Right, autistic
he's
people
a robot.
go around throwing up Sig Heils just because. I guarantee it from personal experience. It's not a thing that happens.
Yeah, but that's part of the darkness of it all. If that's what's really, if he got carried away with what he was saying and was truly, hey, thank you all from the bottom of my heart, and then that comes out, that's pretty dark.
Yes.
So, the whole thing about it being a Roman salute is nonsense. That's all nonsense. Everybody knows what that stuff means.
Right.
After the fall,
and then as many
everyone knows.
As many people on TikTok were saying, and I'll say it here just in case there's somebody who happens to watch this who thinks what Elon Musk did was okay, which by the way, you're watching the wrong show. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's going to get worse for you. Do it. Get yourself on camera, state your name, your place of employment, and do it. And put it on social media.
Yeah.
If it's okay or whatever, it's just a Roman salute, do it.
Yeah.
On camera and post it.
Not a
lot of people have been doing that.
Some of the nonsense around it too is like taking screenshots of somebody waving, right? And saying, what's the difference between yes, Paul. What's the difference between like Kamala Harris waving and them taking a snapshot of her arm in the air of a video, right? And comparing that to what he did, and it's like, are you serious? Really? But this whole thing is going to be memory hold. They're going to tell us to reject it, what we saw. It's just nuts.
Was that the clip from American History X, Clev?
Probably. Yes.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen American History X, you need to. It's one of the best movies ever made. Not good for date night. But at the end, when Edward Norton's character is
hey, I was gonna say that the opening transformation,
yeah. When he's visiting the white nationalist group for the final time, and the white nationalist group thinks that he might not be as dedicated as he once was. One of them throws him like what is supposed to be like the most unavoidable, you can't ignore me Nazi salute ever. And it looked exactly like what Elon Musk did, from the slap in the chest hard you can hear it. Yeah.
Somebody who sent me this, they had it side by side. I don't know if you guys can see it. Watch, it's gonna be side by side. There it is, side by side.
Yeah.
It's unmistakable. It's
unmistakable. And so that's the thing too. Like, I don't appreciate everybody lying to me. Like Cleve kind of said, like, I just wish these people want to make excuses for it would just come out and say it.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, that's what it was. We won the election. What are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? Like, be about it. I just, it's all just driving me crazy. So anyways, all this has happened since the Lions lost, which is why the Lions game feels like it was 3 years ago.
Yeah. And that was an ass beating.
It was. And we'll start there. Commanders 45, Lions 31. So here's the thing. The Lions scored 31 points and had 521 yards of offense. And their offense is also the reason why they lost this game.
Yeah. 5 turnovers.
The defense only gave up 38 points because the Commanders had scored on a pick 6. And only gave up 7 points in the second half. The Lions turned the ball over 4 times, 5 times in total, but 4 when the game was still in question.
Yeah.
The Lions gave up 38 points and should have won this game by 2 scores.
Yeah.
That is what's bothering me so much about this loss, right? It's one thing to show up against a better team and get beat, like last year in San Francisco, or to have a 55-yard pass bounce off your defender's face mask and Brandon Ayuk's hands, like happened last year in San Francisco.
Yeah.
For what happened this game, this was an absolute self-immolation from Jared Goff.
And he played poorly, and I mean, I think at this point we can see when Goff tries to do too much. Let's just call it, taking too big a bite of the apple kind of thing. It's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem, and that happened multiple times in this game. But some of it, you're up 7-3, and it's 3rd and 2, and you just burn a play, getting cute, and then you fumble, and now you're down 10-7. There's a little bit of that. Like, it's just.
But I think a lot of that is when those plays don't work, we crush them.
No, I just think fundamentally, ideologically, that game already looked a little tense, more tense than I wanted it to already. And when they had the ball 3rd and 2, and you motion David Montgomery out of the backfield and you throw a pass when you've got two runs to get a first down. This isn't backward looking. This is just fundamentally disagreeing with burning a play for no reason. Just fundamentally don't like the idea of you've gashed this team on the ground. You're going to continue to, yet on 3rd and 2, you're going to throw a pass and you get overly cute and just don't like it. Again, it doesn't necessarily matter what I think, because these guys are significantly smarter than the rest of the planet when it comes to football. It's just ideologically don't like that kind of stuff.
See, I don't have an issue with it because they're running the ball so effectively. If the play doesn't work on 4th and 2, they'll just run and get it.
I know.
So
just do it on 3rd down instead of taking the risk.
But the thing is, on 3rd down is when you're most likely to catch the Commanders expecting that run. So I don't mind that. I don't mind.
Not when you motion the running back out of the backfield and run him into a route.
Yeah, but then they have to respond and do something because they're already planning for a run or whatever. Like, I'm okay with that sort of stuff. What the main issue I have here is that the Lions in this game on offense were incredibly unfocused, especially Jared Goff and especially Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams and Jared Goff are the reason they lost this game. And the interception right before halftime in the end zone was on Jameson Williams, not Jared Goff. He rounded the top of that route like he was like avoiding an icy street. And like he had to watch his steps. If he turns and breaks that in and leaves Sanders still in the dust like he's supposed to, that pass is on the money and it's a touchdown. He rounded it so much he let Sanders still get underneath him.
Yeah.
And then of course Jameson Williams throws a pass into triple coverage when when they practice that play. If it's not there, throw it away.
Or run with it, dude. Run with it.
Yeah, if it's not there, throw it away. If it's not there, throw it away.
It's not on the offense. I mean, the offense, yes, the offense had lots of issues, but they scored 31 points and turned the ball over 5 times.
Yes.
The idea of what the Lions did defensively is so beyond frustrating. Continuing to blitz Jaden Daniels, Jameson Williams, continuing to blitz him over and over and over and it not meaning anything and continuing to get torched the way they did defensively to then continue the blitz. There's one play in specific detail we can talk about. The Terry McLaurin bubble screen touchdown is such a bananas play from a scheme standpoint. I have no idea what either the Lions were doing or Aaron Glenn's doing for this coverage. So, Cleve, Washington comes out and they've got a bunch formation, let's say on the left side of the offensive formation, 3 wide receivers, tight ends on the line on the right side. So the Lions have generally in that scenario, it needs to be 3-on-3. You need 3 defensive backs. So the Lions originally have 3, but then they motion Brian Branch in from the bunch down to the end of the line of scrimmage. The problem is that Jaden Daniels is staring at it as it's happening because that's where his reads are. He's throwing the ball there. That's where the bunch formation is. So you're blitzing Brian Branch. You're taking him out of coverage. You're allowing the quarterback to see him walk out of that coverage. And now you've got 2 defenders to cover 3 receivers. So yes. So then that's an auto throw the bubble screen. They did. Mm-hmm. They blocked up both Lions defenders. And now you're asking Kirby Joseph to come from kind of center field-ish to take the perfect angle on Terry McLaurin, who's running full speed. And he did not.
Yes. And you are correct about everything you said. Everything you said is correct, except they didn't block the Lions defenders. Both Lions defenders hit Terry McLaurin and bounced off him like he's Derrick Henry because those Lion defenders are Uber drivers because we only had 3 real NFL players left.
Dude, they both got blocked to the point where they were going to have a really hard time tackling him there. All I'm saying is it's a terrible design to say you 3 can take on R2 and we're good with it. Especially when you know the blitz is not getting home and it continually wasn't getting home.
Yes.
But you continued to dial up blitzes. And it just didn't impact Jaden Daniels at all.
And that's exactly why no competent NFL franchise would hire Aaron Glenn as head coach, right?
Oh, boy. That is not what I... Damn it, Dave.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Best of luck to him. See you in 3 years and you get fired and you come back.
You know what? One of the things that he's going to do instantly there, he will turn that culture around instantly, and that matters maybe more than any of us think. They have talent on that roster. They do. They do.
The main reason I'm not mad at the defense in this game, aside, I mean, you make some very good points there, Scott. As I said, when Amik Robertson broke his arm, it was just like, wow. Like at the time, I didn't realize it, but that was the final straw. That was the last. That was like number 14 defensive player out now, and it's like that was the last. Like we cannot scam our way out of this anymore.
Yeah.
So when I text you guys that like a day ago, I guess it was. I'm sorry, my mic is slow. And I text you guys that a day ago. It changed my perspective of how I was going to act childish tonight because I was just going to go at Dave and a whole bunch of shit. I was like, yeah, I'm glad. No, because you're a fan, and like I said, we show up for our teams, win, lose, draw, whatever. But I like when I saw that, and I felt for the guy. I'm like, but that is why I guess you said what you said in the text about we down like our fifth string cornerback, whatever. I thought you were just being Dave about that, but I didn't know that. Somebody sent me that, and I was like, that's tough. That's in the moment of a big game like this. Not this guy who game planned and is not going to be on the personnel. Like he's not going to be in any of the personnel packages. So I'm like, wow, that's not good.
And when I said in the chat, when I said I don't know who Norris is, I think this is an NPC. I meant it. I had never heard of Norris. You know how hard it is? I don't even know his first name. Do you know how hard it is for there to be a Detroit Lion I have never heard of? Yeah, I know where most NFL players went to college, let alone having never a Lion I've never heard of.
That's how deep they had to get into their roster with how much injuries there were. And the last thing I'll say about the whole thing, it's a bummer they lost. It is what it is. I wonder if because they've lost so many people, like you lose Aiden Hutchinson the way you do, it's devastating. We should have known that they weren't going to be able to overcome that. You lose Carlton Davis and Lee McNeil in the same game 6 weeks ago, whatever it was. It's tough to overcome those things, right? All this stuff accumulates. And I wonder if, and we've seen this with the Red Wings in the past and other teams in the past, if getting the bye was the finish line for the Detroit Lions this year, and it was just There was no gas left in the tank to go further. And in hindsight, I think that makes sense.
So I would agree with you, except for two things. Had the Vikings come into Detroit and put up their customary 24 to 34 points or more, even the Lions had won the game, but they win 48-45 or something, I'd be like, oh my God, the defense is shot. Like, one of these teams is going to put it on us, right? But the way they shut down the Vikings, let me know that they can still do this. And maybe not to Josh Allen and maybe not to Lamar Jackson, but to Jalen Hurts. But the Commanders are not particularly special. Jaden Daniels is. The Commanders are not.
Correct.
Now,
but they did it to Sam Darnold, not Jaden Daniels. That's the difference.
Yes, but they also got torched by Terry McLaurin and not Justin Jefferson.
Yep. That kid, I know we're talking about, we're still on the Lions side of this. That kid played exceptionally well in that spot.
Yes, and I do have a topic on him as well. I do just want to finish for the Lions. The key linchpin for the Lions against the Vikings was two players. It was Alex Anzalone and Amik Robertson.
Yeah.
And they came up with the exact same game plan against Washington because what else are they going to do? They only had 4 NFL players to start the game on defense.
Yeah.
Right. They had Pascal, Anzalone, Branch, and Robertson. Right. I would have included Terry Arnold in that before the 4th down play.
What? Kirby Joseph is a dude.
Yeah, he is. You know what I mean.
Campbell's a good player.
He's a linebacker. He doesn't really matter.
So is Anzalone.
Yeah, but Anzalone's a like go get him linebacker. Jack Campbell's like an off the ball. Like he's a good player, but it's like having a really good tight end. Like, yeah, it's a great like Brock Bowers is great. Does it matter for the Raiders? No. Right. Jack Campbell's like that. Like if all you have is Jack Campbell, you're not stopping anybody. Even though he's good.
Do you guys remember when Troy Brown had to play, I think was it safety?
Yeah.
It wasn't corner, it was safety. Troy Brown on the Patriots, like half a season. So these things happen. Right, I'm not going to make excuses for the Lions. These things happen. Injuries happen to everybody. I mean, it's a long NFL season.
The Packers won a Super Bowl. Like I want to say they won like the 2010 Super Bowl with a dozen dudes on IR or 14 guys.
Yeah,
it happened.
So the thing is that yes, while every team does suffer injuries, if you go and look at how many people are on season and how many games have been missed for offense or defense across the league, the Lions' defense is like many standard deviations outside the norm.
Yeah.
Right. They got extremely unlucky in this regard this year. And I'm not making an excuse for them either. This is a game they should have won. Yeah. And not they didn't lose because of the defense. They lost because of offensive turnovers. So I'm not making an excuse either. I was gonna say if you have to throw it at someone's foot in front of someone's feet, it's golf.
Yeah. It's golf. And it's golf in the other quarterback I've never heard of that.
So
just like
Liam with a point here. He says, I think it's because the Lions OC and DC interviewed with other teams before the game. They wanted to become NFL head coaches. NFL needs to change this rule. I wouldn't mind the NFL changing this rule. They would need to change some other things about like what the calendar and who can do what when, or else the teams waiting to hire them would be at a severe disadvantage. I don't want to disadvantage Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn from getting jobs, but I wouldn't mind something to reorganize this. But I also don't think this is the reason for this. I don't think they're distracted by this because the motivating factor for everybody in the NFL is to win a Super Bowl. And Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, even though I'm sure they're excited to be head coaches, this year was their best chance to be part of a Super Bowl champion, better than they're ever going to see with Chicago or the Jets, most likely just because of the way things tend to go, right? So
yeah, and the reality behind the interviewing during the week thing is game plans are the hay's in the barn on like Thursday on that stuff.
Yeah.
So ask an NFL player or an NFL coordinator or coach, too much thinking about things is bad. You get to a point on Thursday, Friday when the game plan's in and it's all done. I don't think interviewing a few different places for an hour or two really meant all that much. Liam, you make a good point. They should change some things. I don't know exactly what that would look like, but it certainly doesn't make a ton of sense that there are different rules for teams still in the playoffs as opposed to teams not in the playoffs, right? But I don't think that meant, that's not the reason why they lost. It's just not.
Yeah, I would think this more if like Arthur Smith got a head coaching job after the Steelers lost. And it's like, okay, well, the Steelers are going to Baltimore. They're 9.5-point underdogs. They're going to get killed. Everybody knows it. So maybe now he's like, whatever. I still wouldn't think that, but it'd be more likely. But for the Lions guys specifically, like this is probably their best shot they're going to have in their careers ever, just mathematically, just based on the odds, right?
Yeah. The 1 seed being at home. Yeah.
So I don't think that they would be that distracted from it because that is the thing. And also when it comes to renegotiating future contracts, having that Super Bowl championship on your CV from this year also helps. If you get fired as a head coach, winning Super Bowls and OC will really help you when you get a job as an OC somewhere else again.
Yes.
So I think they would be just as motivated to do well here. And as Scott said, them interviewing probably isn't going to actually interfere too much. Though I agree with you, Liam, they do need to change something in general. Jaden Daniels, I heard somebody on ESPN say that this is the greatest rookie season of all time. I still cannot get behind that. I don't think anybody will ever have a better rookie season than Dan Marino in 83 because I don't see how throwing 45 touchdowns in a season in 1983 can ever be beat. That should not be possible. You used to be able to just
and going to did he go to Super Bowl that year? Did he go
second year? Second year.
Okay.
Yeah. But to me, throwing 45 touchdowns in a year in 1983 when you could just carry baseball bats in the secondary and hit receivers over the head with them, like it is crazy.
Yeah.
To me, unless he wins the Super Bowl, to me, it's barring record because Cam didn't have a good record, but Cam's rookie campaign was pretty special. Cam Newton, that is.
Yeah, I would say that Daniels would have to win the Super Bowl to even be in the conversation with Marino, and I'd still take Marino's, but I can see it's still a really great season. He is a bona fide superstar now. And just think about this, you guys. If Tommy Cutlets hadn't won those 3 games for the Giants last year, Jaden Daniels would be a New York Giant right now.
Yeah, my boy hit me with that. I did not forget. I'm like, damn.
That's incredible.
But he ended up where he needed to be.
Yeah.
The Giants would have never used him the way.
All those guys, they deserve a ton of credit. Their game plan, they executed. They played a great game.
Yep. And sorry, last thing on this game, the only comfort I take away from this loss is that hopefully Dan Snyder is somewhere just stewing with the Commanders having all the success in like his first year not being there.
It is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Dan Snyder probably doesn't feel shame or have a conscience or anything. He probably doesn't actually care, but I kind of hope he does. And he just realizes how big of a loser he is. And like just removing him solved all their problems.
Yes. Instantly in 1 year. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Texans 14, Chiefs 23. The Texans offense did a lot of really good things in this game. CJ Stroud threw for 245 yards and no interceptions. Joe Mixon ran for 88 yards and a touchdown. There was just one small problem. CJ Stroud was sacked 8 times.
Yeah, they could not stop anybody.
3 of those sacks
he had no
time.
He had no time.
3 of the sacks were from former first-round pick George Karlaftis, a player who chose to play his college ball at Purdue over Michigan. And no, I'm not still bitter about this. Purdue is on their 3rd head coach since Karlaftis committed there, by the way.
Not bitter at all, huh?
None whatsoever. Watching this game, it was like, Houston, aside from the sacks, was even with Kansas City.
Yeah.
Kansas City not pull away from them, aside from this one glaring problem. And then I know Texans' offensive line is not good, Scott, but Evan Silva established the run, pointed out that the Chiefs got pressure on Stroud 12 times in this game.
Yeah.
And 8 of them, there was an unblocked rusher to the quarterback.
Yeah.
And he said that is on Bobby Slowick.
Isn't Tunsil on that team?
Who? Yes.
Tunsil? Tunsil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they gave up a lot of pressures on the interior. Will Anderson did his thing, but Shaq Mason had a rough game. I don't I mean, clearly it's on your coordinator, but some of it is also on quarterback communicate. I'm not saying Stroud's doing a bad job, but like if you're sliding your protections a certain way and the other team and the defense can find their way,
Yeah.
to have an unblocked pressure, it's either because the running back misses who he's supposed to pick up, or there's something really flawed in the scheme in what you're doing. So if you're saying that you want to blame Slowick a little bit for these unblocked pressures, yeah, you have to account for a lot of this stuff, and sometimes, I mean, Mixon's a good pass blocker, all that stuff, but you have to provide. You got to keep your quarterback clean. Stroud's really good. He's a very talented quarterback, but you're not going to be able to do too much if you're getting blasted, stepping into a throw. And he did in that game. Houston had a nice little run in the playoffs for what they look like coming into the playoffs, because I didn't think they looked totally outgunned in that matchup at Kansas City.
I don't think so either.
I didn't. I mean, I was a little surprised that they hung the way they did, but I didn't, I wasn't looking at it from like, it wasn't like I was charting it or any of that stuff, but generally speaking, if there's unblocked pressure, it's coming from the interior, or because you're allowing, say, like, Cleve, let's just say you got all 5 offensive linemen like going left, and that's how you're calling your line shift. And then in that scenario, you're leaving the defender who's farthest away from the ball on the right side free. So the quarterback's job is to handle that. So that can be an unblocked pressure too. But most of the time, if that happens, the quarterback's staring at him and the ball's coming out super fast. So I'm going to guess. Yeah. My guess, if it's an unblocked pressure that they're saying there's, how many did you say there was? 8?
8.
Those are interior unblocked pressures, and I mean, if you're rolling back, throwing 40 times, and that, and 8 out of those 40 are dead plays because you're not blocking somebody, something's wrong.
Yeah. This weekend showed me 2 things. One, not turning the ball over is very important. And 2, the Lions would beat the Chiefs by 2 scores. I'm very annoyed. I'm very annoyed.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce in this game had 33 yards after forcing missed tackles. Cleve, the entire regular season, he had a total of 18 yards after forcing missed tackles. That's 1 yard per game.
He's what's your thing? Dust ball adjacent, or is he dust ball?
No, he's washed because you can't go from superstar to dust ball. Dust balls never took off, never got anywhere.
Yeah, they're not going to hold up in the washer.
Yeah, he's washed. It's done for him.
Man.
And on this play too, there was one where he shook a guy and broke a tackle, was off and running, and he got hawked out at the 10-yard line. And I sent to the chat, I was like, Kelce washed, because that should have been a touchdown easy.
Yeah.
So, but he still showed up with a big game here. Rams 22, Eagles 28. The Rams gave it a strong effort at the end of the game after all hope seemed lost, but in their inability to stop Saquon Barkley is the reason they are at home. Saquon in this game, 26 carries, 205 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's not forgetting that in week 12 against the Rams, Saquon went 26 carries, 255 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 47 yards through the air.
So that's the reason why some people were cool with the Lions playing the Rams, is because they can be had very, very easily running the ball. But I'm going to tell you, Jared Verse is a dude.
Yes.
It is. You can't miss those guys in the draft. There's a few in the draft coming in this draft. They're never going to be available at 28 or whatever. I'm talking about Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. Total dude. Bad dude. Versus physicality and ability to just take an offensive tackle, a guy bigger than him, and walk him into the lap of the quarterback is very, very impressive. And I mean, for a rookie to be doing that kind of stuff, Man. Yeah.
Yeah, Jared
Damn.
Verse is great at Florida State. I mean, he's a really good player. And if you remember last week, I said this was a game the Rams could win. They're just missing. They just weren't quite good enough. They didn't have a Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. Cooper Kupp is also washed now.
Yeah.
Like they were just a little not quite enough, and that happened. They were just not quite there, but they had the ball with a chance to win at the end.
Yeah.
Stafford
made some ridiculous throws.
Yes. Puka Nacua, some ridiculous catches, and one really bad drop.
That weather was crazy. So ball security was really not that great.
Yeah, Kyron Williams, the horrible fumble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, his wasn't snow. That got punched out.
But I think it's because it was like wet and like, I know it gets punched out in like dry, good weather. Yeah, I don't really have much else on this game. Jalen Hurts got hurt. His knee was injured. He didn't look right at all after that. Basically just handed the ball off the rest of the game.
Took a safety. Yeah.
Took a safety.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's back and ready to go this week. But yeah, Eagles 28, Rams 22. And aside from that, not much else for me on this game. Anything from you guys?
Nope.
Nah.
Game of the week. Ravens 25, Bills 27. Oh. Okay. First, very good game between two evenly matched teams. And in my opinion, this was the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think that the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl, and I think the winner of this game was going to win the Super Bowl. Keep in mind, this game happened after the Lions lost. But as I'm watching this, I'm like, these teams are the best. Now, much like how Jared Goff and J-Mo lost the game for the Lions, Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews lost this game for the Ravens. Lamar's mistakes were actually not that horrible, but the fact that Josh Allen didn't make any made Lamar's more consequential. Mark Andrews, on the other hand, fumbling at midfield and then dropping the 2-point conversion. Get ready to speak Tennessee Titan, buddy, because you are out of there. Isaiah Likely is already on the roster. You are gone, sir.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Dave, come on.
Really, bro?
If they can save even $1 by cutting him, he's cut June 1st. And they can. $7 million.
Come on.
Yes. He is. Yeah, he gone.
I don't think so.
Lamar lost him that game. I go ahead. I just said it. Lamar lost him that game. That fumble, and then it was a fumble.
Yeah, he had a fumble.
Did they rule it as a fumble?
Yeah.
Okay. Fumble lost, and then the interception. Big mistakes in that spot. And again, you said it perfectly, Dave, because I didn't think about it in juxtapose. Great word there. Josh didn't make any mistakes. He played a damn near perfect game. Like as far as QBing, like he played.
And the running too, just like it's just nonsense.
Yeah, I disagree with them winning the Super Bowl because I for some reason I got the Chiefs. It's just stupid. What we didn't talk about when we talked about the Chiefs is that Mahomes did benefit from a couple of calls there, sliding down and he gets hit.
Yes, he did.
He really?
Did you guys?
I get it. Why?
Did you guys see the embellishment stuff on the sidelines with him?
The embellishment stuff? What we missed?
Like he's on the sidelines and he really, I mean, somebody touches him and he might have walked out of bounds and been fine, but he throws his arm. Reminded me of Sidney.
Yeah, he flopped.
The flopping. Okay. Yeah. No, that was head snapped back.
Josh Allen does it too. But like, you guys are the best quarterbacks in the world. You don't need to be doing those things. Drives me nuts. But I get it.
They want 15 yards. They want 15 yards.
I get
bro.
that. It's fine if the refs are going to fall for that, but it's going to lead to some dude's going to roll up when Mahomes is about to run out of bounds and literally send him to the moon. Because if I'm getting 15 by touching him with my pinky, I'm gonna.
I might as well hit him.
Yes.
I might as well hit him. Yeah, I might as well hit him. I agree with that. For sure.
I look forward to seeing it. And I like Mahomes, but I want to see it.
If
Yep.
Mark Andrews
Skirts
catches
the
a
edge too
2-point
much.
conversion, the Ravens win this game.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things that what annoys me about like the coverage of all this and whatever is that whichever quarterback lost this game was going to get they can't win in the playoffs, this, that, and the other. And it's like winning the AFC is going to be so hard for everybody.
Yeah.
It could be hard for Mahomes. Mahomes may never go to the Super Bowl again. Like if they lose
He's
to
been there
Buffalo,
enough. It's okay.
but what I'm saying is that if Buffalo wins this week,
Yeah.
right? Like between Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, and Lamar in the same conference,
Yeah.
It's really hard to come out of the AFC to represent them in the Super Bowl now. So I don't like if the Bills had lost this game, people were crushing Josh Allen. I'd be like, that is so ridiculous. I mean, not for the game, but for like, oh, he can't win or whatever. All these quarterbacks are great. Like Phillip Rivers is a Super Bowl caliber quarterback, even though he never made it. Sorry, Jake and Liam. But I don't like some of the tone on these people who are talking bad about Lamar, not Clev, but you know the types.
Yeah.
It's a little Elon-y.
Well,
What
he should.
do you
Lamar
guys
should
think
win
is
the
worse?
MVP. Shouldn't be close, right?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what we haven't talked about this, but I would think that I know that Josh Allen was in the mix to be MVP, and that's fine. But Lamar should really win MVP. His numbers are just staggering.
Yeah, Cleve and I, we did talk about this the week where you had to leave. You had to leave a little bit early, and we were completely in agreement that Lamar was the MVP. And it's not even that much of a competition. And he should have won it.
Quick question: barring the stakes of a Super Bowl versus a catch to go in overtime in a conference game, Jackie Smith's drop or from the Cowboys, or the Andrews drop, which is you think is worse?
The Jackie Smith one was in the Super Bowl, right?
And would have won it, right?
When they said he must be the sickest man in America.
Yeah.
He has to be the sickest man in America. Like that drop was like the football bit him on his thumbs or something. That was just the Mark Andrews, like he was turning around, and I think the ball was a little low, and he just he didn't adjust well. And
it hit him in the chest.
That angle where he was going to catch the ball. Yeah. Huh? No, it did it. I thought it hit him in the hands low.
He dropped it. He dropped it when he hit the ground.
Oh, dropped it down. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
he had. It was a horrible drop. It was really bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it went through his hands, hit him in the stomach, chest, and then come out. Yeah.
So first of all,
the Jackie drop was in the numbers.
Yeah. I want to just point out a couple things with the Jackie Smith play. Our audience may not know what you're talking about because that did happen before I was born.
Oh,
so there is a chance that nobody knows what we're talking about.
Me too,
here, but in a Super Bowl somewhere in
it's
the
a historic drop.
I keep forgetting.
The Steelers played the Raiders, and the Cowboys the chance to, I think it was to win the game. Perfect pass to their tight end Jackie Smith, who dropped it almost comically. Like
it bit him. Like it bit him in the chest, it bit him in the arms or something. Like the football bit him.
Looked like when Sonic loses his rings. Like the ball went flying out. So if you have a chance to go look it up, see it. Don and I used to watch all those old NFL films.
Yeah. It's a brutal drop.
The reason I bring it up is because tight ends. That's why I brought it up. I was just like, barring the stakes of what it was, but the stakes were pretty high from both these catches. Yes. But you're right. I just looked at the Andrews catch, and he did have it in the numbers. He should have caught that ball.
Catch it, just fall down.
There's no reason why you should not catch that ball.
It was. That's what where
if it was going over your head, then that's something different.
You guys feel like he thought he lost where he was on the field, perhaps, and was trying to find the pylon?
I thought that's why I said what I said. I think he was trying to see if I make this catch, am I inbounds? But if you hit the pylon, it's just as good, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in that case, you're already falling backwards. You just got to secure the catch and pray at that point, because
but that's what it looked like to me.
You got to control it to the ground, though, right? You got to control the.
Yeah,
you got to
it's like
control it
it's
to the
like
ground.
yeah, you're Mark Andrews, not Chris Carter. You're not gonna flip over like a cat, get both toes down. Like, just catch the ball and hope you fall down in bounds at that point.
Yeah, but that's what it honestly looked like to me. Like he had lost sight of where the pylon was and was trying to find it while catching the ball.
Yeah.
So I don't know that.
You guys have. I mean, you guys have both caught footballs at some time in your life where you see it and you're like, look at this looks easy enough to catch this, and all of a sudden you're like,
oh yeah,
whatever. But
I never drop a pass.
I think he thought
ever.
Oh, wow.
Ever. Now, keep in mind,
okay.
I do run like Travis Kelce now, so I might not do much after I catch it. But I'll drop a pass.
It's a tough scenario to catch a pass, and we'll give him a little credit for that.
I actually think that all three of us catch that pass easy. I think most of the chat catches the pass.
I would do my best to try to catch it, knowing. So let's dissect this. Did he check down to him, or or was it like, hey, I'm looking for you here?
First read. It's Laurel. Run if it's there. If not, throw it to Andrews.
Oh, so there was no running lane for Lamar to even take it himself.
I think it was to Andrews, but I mean, I've
just get to the pylon, turn around. Shit.
I think it's just get out to the flat and let's make it work, is what it felt like. But Dave, I mean,
so nobody else was open. That's what I'm asking. I don't know. Was anybody else option like
he's the first
Lamar
read.
sees him? Well, I mean, he was uncovered. Like there was nobody behind him.
Yeah, he's the first read.
Like,
he's open. Lamar hit him in the chest, and he dropped the season.
Yeah,
and that's why next year he'll be a safety blanket for Shadur Sanders in Nashville.
It's nonsense what you're saying, Dave, because I've made mistakes playing senior hockey in freaking St. Clair Shores, Michigan, playing for nothing on a Tuesday night and made bigger mistakes than that. So I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to make a catch in the playoffs to win a game. Come on. I mean, I've lost games playing goalie before, shooting the puck into my own net.
I get it, Paul. Paul, I get it. He was wide open. Like I'm looking at the play right now.
Paul's still salty about Notre Dame.
He was wide open. Too soon, bro. It's too soon.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Scott. You're Scott playing Tuesday night rec league hockey in St. Clair Shores. I expect you to lose games.
But Mark
Andrews is an all-pro tight end making millions of dollars a year. First read on the play of the season.
Any of the three of us could make that catch, and I'm telling you, I'm not making that catch.
Oh, you would have caught it.
No,
dude. No, Scott. What Dave is saying, and I agree with Dave. If I know I'm the first read and I'm running that route like my life, like someone has a gun to my back, I'm like, I got to get there, turn around. I got to get there, turn around.
Lamar didn't fire in there.
Yeah, no, it was it was like a lob, right? It was like a lob. Yeah, you're supposed to catch that, bro.
Yeah, it was a really embarrassing drop. It was really bad, but but think about all the good hot chicken he'll be able to get in downtown Nashville next year.
You've already jettisoned him into the sun. Bro?
He's out. He's out.
They already have Isaiah Likely on the roster.
No one's safe. No one's safe. Like you're walking around the sidelines with your roster thing, like, hey, we're cutting guys right now.
Do you think he's in this
you might be on this list?
Dave? USFL?
No, I think he'll be a very, very above average production player on a really shitty team.
Okay.
He'll be to the Titans what Evan Ingram is for the Jags.
Hey,
what David Njoku is for the Browns.
If they cut D Ford off the Chiefs that year for being lined up in the wrong spot and the ball hitting him, you might not be safe.
Yeah,
guys get cut for something less. Guys get cut for less, so that's the season on the line. You might they might have a point. We're laughing about it,
but it's more because he's 20. He's 29 years old. They can save money by cutting him, and he's the second best tight end on the team. Isaiah Likely is no better than he is.
Yeah, big spot.
Actually, depending who the quarterback is, he'd be a good fit for the Jets.
Yeah,
he'd actually be a really good fit there with Garrett Wilson.
You think he beats out Ty Conklin for the job there?
Joe Coxslam?
Now, if he came to the Jets, he would start. I don't think.
Yeah,
we have
I
anybody
think
there
it'd
in
be a
that
good
spot.
fit there. Conference
I'm
championship
looking at his
preview.
contract real quick to see what his story.
Okay, go ahead. You look that up.
He may be a free agent.
What's that?
He might be a free agent this year.
Oh yeah, see ya.
Even yeah, you're done. If you're a free agent, there's the door.
Oh, he's a free agent in 2026.
But that means they can cut him this year.
Oh.
June 1st. Bye.
Yeah, and his dead cap hit is only like $6 million. It would cost him $3 million over 2 years
gone.
to move him. So,
Yeah.
Dave might be right. He could
gone.
be a Titan. Or
He's
a Jet.
gone. He's gone.
Or a
He's
Bronco.
He'd be a really nice
Brown.
fit there.
Yeah, there's options. He has options. You know where he's gonna go? You know where he's gonna go? Oh my goodness. He's gonna go replace Travis Kelce.
You imagine that?
I think he's more. I think Kelsey's got more juice than Andrews does.
No chance. I'm not saying I could beat
I'm
Travis
only
Kelce.
saying it. I'm
in a-
only
in a
saying
40.
because we referred to Kelsey as washed earlier.
He is absolutely washed.
No,
Travis Kelce,
the numbers. Come on.
Travis Kelce gets up off the ground the same way I do now. Like the rollover onto all fours and push yourself up. There's no more like athletic getting up. Like I've seen Clev have to get up off the ground and he almost does the like feet first flip off, like he's bouncing around or whatever. Travis Kelce's like, oh, like you know the joints are aching. He's making the dad sounds. Like he's
Oh man, holy
he can
shit.
still get open in the red zone. He still has good hands. But he is
a good
not
playoff performer.
He's gonna win 3 in a row and go
God.
Mary Taylor and be done with all this. He ain't playing anymore.
More power to him.
Commanders at Eagles. Clev. The Eagles are favored. How much do you think the Eagles are favored by in this game?
14 points.
Scott, how much do you think the Eagles are favored by in this game?
I would go more along the lines of like 7.5 to 8.
6.
Yeah. And I think that's a testament to the unknown around Jalen Hurts' injury.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
Did you guys see the reports
yeah.
that he wouldn't have been able to drive home from the stadium after the game? He was so medicated. Seriously. Yes.
They're gonna give him he's gonna take a shot, bro.
Yeah, they gave him some painkillers or whatever it is that the NFL does these days, but that was an ugly injury.
Yeah. Well, the good news is in this game, all he needs to do is turn the hand the ball to Saquon because while we know how much Saquon killed the Rams this year for like 500 total yards and 4 touchdowns. These teams are in the same division, so they played twice. The first meeting was in week 11 with the Eagles winning 26-18 in Philadelphia. This game was a battle for first place in the division at the time. Saquon ran for 146 yards and 2 touchdowns. Their second meeting was in week 16, a 36-33 Commanders win in Washington. Jaden Daniels threw for 258 yards, 5 touchdowns, and add another 81 yards on the ground.
Yep.
But Saquon had 150 yards and 2 touchdowns on 29 carries.
That was the Kenny Pickett game, right?
Yes, it was.
And look at what Gibbs did to Washington last weekend. So here's a positive about Detroit. Gibbs is a top 5 offensive weapon in the NFL right now, and I might be being a little overly conservative there. He is. Like his ability both as a pass catcher and a rusher, it's crazy. Barkley is going to go off in this game against Washington. Their run defense is bad.
They literally cannot stop the run.
Yeah. So I think your point is perfect. Philly doesn't need Hurts to be all world in this game. They just don't.
I think so. My prediction for this game is that Saquon is going to grind them to dust in a slow motion blowout. Eagles 30-10.
I could see Washington scoring a little more, but I think the script that you're putting out there makes a ton of sense.
I'm going with the Commanders on this one.
It would be awesome.
This is what we do. This is why we're here.
It would be
this is what we
awesome.
do. This is yeah. I mean, the kid has 15 touchdowns, no turnovers in the last whatever 4 game, whatever how many games, no turnovers. Like he's I don't know what they're designing for him, or if that's him, that's his acumen. But
Well, his
the
OC
kid's
is
playing really good
Kingsbury, so
football.
I think it's him.
Yeah,
He is like that.
he's playing good ball.
He is, but he's unflappable. There's an element of calm.
Yeah, he
around
looks like
him.
big spot. He's like on the bench
Yeah.
chilling. I'm like, holy
Like
shit.
most NFL quarterbacks who even have been in the league for years don't look like that. He was just saying, yeah, no big deal.
In
Chilling.
poker, there are two types of opponents that scare you as a poker player. The first is a young Korean kid with a fucked up haircut. That kid is a monster. The second is a person who can lose a huge pot and just sit there. And just, all right, on to the next one, and it doesn't phase them at all. And then when they win a huge pot, they just sit there, and it doesn't phase them at all. And you're just like, this robot is about to take all my money.
Yeah.
So they're droopy. If for those who know droopy, I'm happy. Doesn't matter what the situation is.
It's just like,
droopy.
yep, you win some, you lose some. Sometimes it's just like, you want to react a little bit. The guy just hit a 3-outer on you for 70% of your chips, and they're just like, all right, what's for dinner?
I'm good.
Get it back later. And that's what Jaden Daniels is like.
Yeah.
Not a Korean kid with a fucked up haircut. He's like the second guy. Like just completely unfazable by things that are both bad and things that are good.
Yeah.
He's just always right there.
And his accuracy he reminds me of Lamar like this, because he's always going to get pegged as a runner, as a running quarterback. We all know why. But his accuracy when he hangs out in the pocket is pretty remarkable for a younger player. I know he's played more because he's an older rookie, but still, his ability to place the ball is pretty impressive.
Yeah,
he played a great game.
That's why I always err on, you guys love guys that are, one and done or whatever. I like guys to stay in a little bit longer in school just to kind of get that experience or whatever.
Hey, Clev, you want something funny? When Jaden Daniels was at Arizona State, he had Brandon Ayuk and Ricky Pearsall as his wide receivers. They had a losing record.
That's crazy.
And you know who their coach was?
What?
Yeah, they had a losing record. Do you know who their coach was?
Herm?
Yeah.
Was it Herm?
Yes.
Fired at the goalpost.
Does it make sense why he got fired at the goalpost now? It's starting to add up.
That is legendary. Wow. You got those three guys and you have a losing record, not even a couple of games?
Yeah. When TikTok came back, which is a whole nother thing that happened since the Lions lost. When TikTok came back, I'm scrolling through whatever, and I get a bunch of random football stuff because I like a lot of football stuff. And this account goes up and it's like Arizona, it's like Sun Devil Fanatic or something like that. And it's a screen showing Jaden Daniels' team's records when he was at Arizona State. And the guy slowly moves his head to the screen and he goes, Herm Edwards is a war criminal, and then moves his head out of the screen.
Wow. Damn, that's brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah, somehow Herm Edwards took that kid and went 5-7.
Wow.
With Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, so Scott, you're with me though. You think the Eagles win maybe closer than 30-10, but the Eagles just kind of get it done.
I just like the script of them slow motion. I think you described it really well, the slow motion blowout.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
I got the Commanders.
All right, we got here. Cleve says Commanders. Bills at Chiefs. Cleve, who's favored in this game?
Well, the Chiefs, right? The defending world champions. You would like to believe that they're favored?
The Chiefs are favored. How much are they favored by?
Since they're not playing sexy, I went a little high on the last one. 3.5.
Only by 2. And
see how close that was?
I don't think the Chiefs should be favored here.
At all.
Neither does the ESPN FPI. They think that the Bills should be favored by 1.2 points. or by 1 because you can't be for 1.2. So you round it down to 1. I think that the Bills should be favored here, and I will be betting Bills money line here. This year, Patrick Mahomes is not as good as Josh Allen. And I don't think the rest of the Chiefs are appreciably better than the rest of the Bills. I think Josh Allen is the difference in this game. And the Bills will win this game. A very close game that the Bills pull away towards the end. 38-24. Josh Allen accounts for all 5 touchdowns. Now, these teams met in week 11 with the number 1 seed in the AFC on the line. The Bills won 30-21 in Buffalo. The Bills never trailed in that game. I just think Buffalo's better than Kansas City, and I don't think it matters where they play.
I just think that the defending world champions need to be respected as defending world champions because the team is not the Mahomes, it's the entire team, coached by Andy Reid. And I just really think that Mahomes is this era's Brady, where Josh is Peyton Manning. Fair enough, right? You could say that Josh is like a Peyton Manning to a Brady, because again, that's how I see them. And it's like Lamar now is in that where like they got to beat the Steelers or whatever, or like so. Josh has to beat Mahomes to be like credible. Like not, I mean, I'm reaching here, but for like you need to defeat the dragon. Like you need to beat that team.
Cleve, we're on
team.
Same wavelengths, because the way I was going to describe it is that if you want to beat the heavyweight champion, you have to knock him out. So if this game is close, Kansas City will win.
Wait a second.
It's a close game.
Yes.
I just want to make sure here, Cleve, you're saying that if you want to be the champ, you have to beat the champ, right?
Like soundly, as Scott said, like it can't be close. They have to snot box these guys.
I agree with you, and that's why I do not acknowledge Ohio State as the national champs this year. Because you have to beat Michigan because we're the champs, and you didn't beat us. You know who did? And Oregon split with Ohio State this year. Oregon 2024 national champs. Hang the banner. You have to beat the champs to be the champs. Oregon did it. Ohio State did it. Ohio State frauds. Cleve said
wow.
I don't think it matters if Kansas City and Buffalo played in the regular season. What I'm saying and what Cleve's is saying is irrelevant. But in the playoffs, they're playing each other. Buffalo's on the road in Kansas City. The winner goes to the Super Bowl. In order for Buffalo to win, they're going to have to roll Kansas City.
So I don't think
it can't be close.
True.
It cannot be close.
And I'll explain why. 3 years ago now.
I cannot believe you just said Ohio. You wouldn't give Ohio State their
flowers.
If you want to be the champ, beat the champ. You had your chance. You didn't do it on your own field.
I mean, that's like saying the year that one of the years that Alabama won it. That what's the team in Florida? The Bulls. The green and gold. Shit.
Yeah, South
USF,
Florida.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. They had a stake at the championship, but they didn't get to play for it.
It was Central Florida.
Yeah.
But Central Florida was the national champions that year. College football fans and people recognize Central Florida as the national champs that year. They're the only undefeated team. They got frozen out of competing for the national championship. They told Alabama, line up and play us. Bama refused after they'd won.
Yep.
I mean, they wouldn't line up and play them. So to me, UCF's the champion that year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that's crazy.
If I had a vote, for in the AP poll or the coaches poll right now, I'd put Oregon number 1. They split with Ohio State this year and beat Michigan. And finished the year with 1 loss. Ohio State finished the year with 2 losses.
But there is no more poll. There's no more. None of this matters. Ohio State won the national
it's over. Yeah.
It's college football. Of course it matters.
You got it.
Wow. Come
They
on,
played-
man.
It's not their fault. They got Notre Dame, bro. It's not their fault that they
No, it is their fault they
Their
lost to
road
Michigan,
was-
though.
Yep.
yeah.
No, what
he
I'm
saved
saying
his
is,
job.
Cleve, I want you to imagine for a second, it's going to be horrible, that you're a diehard Ohio State fan. And when they make
record.
national championship T-shirts and footballs and stuff, they always list the games from that year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Week 1 against so-and-so in the score or whatever.
Wins, losses, yeah. Mm-hmm.
All the Ohio State gear for this year has a loss to Michigan on it. They can call themselves the champs all they want, and they can wear their gear, but you have to walk around celebrating your national championship with an L to Michigan on the back. And I would never buy a Michigan national championship shirt with a loss to Ohio State printed on it.
That sounds a lot like little brother behavior, Dave.
It can't be little brother. Little brothers don't win. If Ohio State wants to be big brother, they should try winning a game.
Okay.
It's not their fault they played who they played, but they did. Okay, to your point, they lost to the reigning national champions, but that wasn't the same team they lost to. They lost.
The last time Ohio State beat Michigan, Trump had a year left in his first term.
Yeah. But what does that have to do with them winning the national title this year?
Cleve said to be the champ, you have to beat the champ. And I agree with him. And they didn't do it.
Yeah.
But they weren't playing
each
other in the championship games.
Yes.
Though.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Yes. But
thank you, Scott.
Right. And had they only played Oregon once and won, I might give them some credence there. But they split with Oregon. But Oregon beat Michigan. Oregon also has fewer losses than Ohio State. Oregon is the national champion.
Okay. You've gone off the reservation. Let's get back to the let's get back to something else that makes some sense.
So what Scott and I are saying is that if the game is close, Kansas City wins these close games because of whatever the calling or God playing for them or whatever. Right.
Well, I do think that
they have to go in there
officiating and Mahomes.
They have to go in there and make it seem they have to like by halftime or third quarter, like they're up 3 touchdowns, like some shit like that. The Chiefs are like undeniably getting roasted out there. They're
and
cooking,
Josh Allen can do that.
Going, they have to be up big and they have to keep the pedal.
How have the Chiefs performed against the Bills without Tyreek Hill?
Don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not well. And Tyreek Hill is the key reason why they won with 13 seconds to go in that game.
Didn't he catch like a 70-yard touchdown where he ran away from everybody or something?
Yes. Yeah. So 3 years ago when they played the greatest playoff game of all time, besides the Immaculate Reception, I guess. First of all, the Bills win that game 98.2% of the time.
Yeah.
In that situation. So for me, I'm like, because first
the Gabe Davis game.
Yes. So first the Chiefs had to score with 13 seconds left, and then they had to win the coin toss, which was 50-50. Because the Bills win the coin toss, the Bills win.
Yeah.
So I don't view it as like, I view it like, again, Michigan, Ohio State 2016, the JT Barrett was down game, which Ohio State won. But as a Michigan fan, I was like, we were there, we competed, we're back, we could be on these guys' level again. I don't view the Bills as being unable to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. To me, the game 3 years ago was such an outlier finish that the Bills already showed they could do it when the Chiefs had Tyreek. Since they've had Tyreek, they have struggled with Buffalo. And I think they're going to struggle again in this game. And I think that just like the game earlier this year, the Bills will control this game start to finish. They might not be leading the entire way, but they're going to control the game start to finish. And after the game, we talk about like, oh, the Bills are now the team to beat. The Bills are now all this and whatever, because they will so comprehensively own this game if they don't win by a bunch of
points. That could easily happen. The Bills are really good. Josh Allen has been playing phenomenal football.
I mean, as you guys know, any given Sunday, anybody can get got.
Of course.
Mahomes is such a special
fans, we
talent.
know.
Yeah. Mahomes is such a special talent. Like him falling down and throwing that dart to Kelsey was crazy work. Yes. So until somebody beats them, They're the defending world champions, and they deserve the respect on their home field. You got to
And
walk
they're
in there and punch them in the
16 and
mouth
2 now.
several times. Yeah,
Are they
it's
16
crazy.
and 2 this year?
Yes.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, 16. Yeah.
So I don't think Clev or I were talking specifically about an outcome or any of that stuff. It's just more stylistically. It feels like,
Yeah.
two
Josh has to go in and
heavyweights.
cook immediately.
Yeah, it's
Has
like
to go
two
in and cook.
heavyweight boxers heading into the ring, both really good fighters, maybe a little different, makeup and different ways about doing things. But
Yep.
one of them is the heavyweight champion and has been for a few years. And if the challenger wants to win, it's going to have to knock him out. That's just, and Josh Allen can do that. He can.
Well,
yes,
but
he
you guys
can.
talking about styles and all this. Just Cleave, who will win the game?
I got the Chiefs winning. I'm not, bro. I respect the champion on any level. I respect whoever the champion is. The teams change, personnel changes over time, but the quarterbacks are still the same. And I think that Mahomes is better than Josh. I don't care what the numbers say this year that he's MVP caliber. Mahomes is such a special talent with the rings, the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I think we're having an internet problem from Cleave here.
Well, I'll answer the question and then he can jump back in. I think Buffalo wins.
Yes. Thank you. Me too.
I do. But
right.
It's not going to surprise me.
There he is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I don't know how much of that rant you guys heard. I'll just kind of like paraphrase it. Until the defending champion, Patrick Mahomes, special talent. I think he's better than Josh Allen as a talent. This year, Josh's numbers are really good quarterback, and he's second in the MVP race to me. But Mahomes, until Mahomes is not on that team or out of the game or whatever, you cannot count that dude out. That dude is special. And exactly. I really think, and it comes down to the will of a player. I think that the Super Bowl that they had against, well, that's what I'm saying. Like it's if I had to pick the quarterback, and that's what I was saying before my mic went limp or whatever. Pause. The combination of coach and quarterback is better for the Chiefs, and they're playing at home. So to what I was saying, which hopefully Scott agreed with some of this, is that you're going to Arrowhead to play these guys who are 16-2 or whatever their record is. You got to go defeat them. Like defeat them.
And Buffalo's capable of doing that. It's just, I could see this being one of those, Buffalo makes a mistake, throws a pick, whatever. Kansas City kind of claws their way back, and in the end, they just find a way to do it.
It can't be close. It cannot be close, bro.
Yeah. So to me,
cannot be close.
Game script wise,
we've seen them all year win these close games.
Yeah. So to me, Buffalo wins by 10 plus, or they lose by a field goal in this game. I don't think there's really any other outcome. So you guys should both go to DraftKings or FanDuel or wherever right now.
I agree with that.
I do the opposite of what I just said, because that's what's going to happen. You know it. Kansas City wins by 30.
Hashtag not financial advice.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm betting both teams. So I'm going to try to do something.
To summarize here, Scott and I both have Eagles versus Bills in the Super Bowl now. Cleve has Chiefs versus Commanders, which means there are plenty of ways for all of us to be wrong.
Yep.
Okay, we'll be back next week to discuss the conference championship games, and we'll talk about the coaching changes next week as well, right? Because we'll just have the two games to review. We'll save the Super Bowl preview for the following week, but next week we'll talk about the two conference championship games and the coaching changes that we've seen. Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, all of that. Cleve, final words.
Should be some good football. I love this time of year, and excited about what the actual Super Bowl outcomes are going to be.
Scott, final words.
Peace to everybody, man. That's all.
And my final words are, I agree with Cleve. You have to respect the champ. Go Ducks. Peace.